Thanks for staying up later. First things first, David Letterman's 7th anniversary special tomorrow night in prime time. What time?
9:30, I believe. It's an hour and a half tomorrow.
What sort of thrills can we expect?
Same old crap, by and large.
So it's a must. Set those, set those VCRs.
Yes,
kind of a compendium of crap.
Yeah, it's, I don't know, you look at the stuff and some of it is fun to see again. We each year try and include more new stuff than old stuff, but then you look at some of the old stuff and you think, well, it's the kind of thing people might be interested in seeing one more time. It's a very difficult process. A lot of people spend a lot of hours pulling the videotapes, and then the hard part is just looking at it over and over and over again. And once you've seen it once or twice, suddenly you think, why did we even bother getting this off the shelf? So it's difficult.
Now, what's your equivalent of Ed Ames throwing his tomahawk on Johnny's show?
Well, I guess, you know, I ought to have an answer for this.
Attaching yourself to the wall with Velcro
suit,
lowering yourself in Alka-Seltzer tablets?
Yeah, something like that. I don't think it has yet achieved the notoriety that the Ed Ames clip has. Its place in destiny, you know. I don't think we're close to that yet.
When you asked Cher, I remember this very distinctly. Apparently you tried to get Cher on the show for a while, and now she comes on, you say, how come you'd balked? And she says, because I thought you were
Yeah.
Okay, and you were definitely taken aback and a little wounded by that.
Yeah.
What did you see in her eyes at that point?
Well, what I was thinking at the time, in all honesty, was, wait a minute, here's a woman who was married to Sonny Bono. She's calling me an and then also, I thought later, she has a tattoo on her body she's never seen. So figure out where that might be.
Did she used to date Mark Gastineau?
Yeah, it did. I guess I'm still naive enough to take that at face value, and I was a little wounded by it. And then I thought later, well, you know, what are you being a baby about this for? So I got over it in a couple of weeks.
Is there any, is there any validity to the charge that, sure, this guy's funny, but sometimes for the sake of being funny, he's going to hurt people unnecessarily? Either make celebrities uncomfortable, which is one thing,
right,
or take everyday people who are defenseless and really make them look like fools.
Yeah, I mean, if that is a perception, then you have to assume that there is some legitimacy to it. It's never our intent. And my reaction, and I think the reaction of most people who are trying to do a comedy show, is if you see an opportunity to make a joke, well, you know, use your judgment, follow your instincts and do it. And sometimes, and I guess with my particular demeanor or personality, people look like, that looks to people like I'm picking on them or making fun of them. And especially in the beginning, I got a lot of heat for that. And it bothered me because it sure was not my purpose to get a show so I could make people feel uncomfortable. So I try to be careful about that now. But I think in the realm of celebrities, geez, anything goes.
Yeah. Are there ever times, though, when you say, I could have been nicer to that person?
Yes.
Geez, I regret that.
Yes, sure. I mean, almost on a nightly basis, I have regrets, not necessarily about that, but I think of things, oh, I perhaps should have handled it this way or handled it that way. Yeah, I think if you don't have regrets, it means that you're doing something really wrong. I mean, you can only learn by identifying something that might have been a mistake and then working toward improving that or correcting it. Yeah.
What do you think is better about the show now than 2-3 years ago? Where's it evolved to?
Well, I think the color has improved on it.
Yeah, the technology keeps improving.
We're down to that half-inch videotape, and it's wonderful. What is better about the show? Geez, you know, I can't answer that question. That's a question that somebody with a little more objectivity would have to discuss. I don't know. We hope that it's better. We try to make it better each night. It's interesting. You just never know. This is what troubles me. You just never know where the obstacles might present themselves. And you never know how different the obstacles can be from previous obstacles. But that really should be a given. The part that troubles me about that is still when I get a new obstacle, I may be thrown by it. You would think after all these years that drop almost anything in the road and I can circumnavigate. But I'm still amazed that stuff just drops out of the sky and brings things to a screeching halt.
But you have the kind of feel on the show where if everything really goes wrong, it sort of fits in. So what if the camera all of a sudden tilts up and starts spinning around in circles, or the desk collapses? Right. So what?
Yeah, that would be good. But sometimes you would be surprised. That will throw me. And something happened the other night, even before we turned on the videotape, which threw me. I go up into the audience for a couple of minutes just to say hello to the people before the show. And I always do that just so I can kind of feel, are they happy, are they depressed, are they hurried to get home,
Yeah.
in a hurry to get home, are they, you know, are they up, are they down? Just a minute before they rolled the tape, I see a woman in the audience with binoculars looking at me, and I thought, this is unusual. I haven't seen this in 7 years. And I said, excuse me, ma'am, you're not a sniper, are you? A small laugh from the audience, and she said, no, I have a disability. Still thinking that this was a line to pursue, I said, what is it, you're nearsighted? And she says, no, I'm blind. Please don't make fun of my disability. I have to live with it. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the comedy star of our show, ba-boom!
She said it just like that?
Just like
Please
that.
don't make fun of my
Please
disability?
don't make fun of my disability. And rightly so. So a chill goes through the audience. Talk about a wind chill. And then we had to start the show. And this troubled me for two reasons. One, that I had been insensitive, although inadvertently insensitive. And two, it just, the audience, you know, you could see them gathering their belongings, wanting to get out, you know, like it's, so that was tough. And I thought, why couldn't I have, after all these years, handled that a little bit better? You know, but it plagued me through. In fact, it was the show you were on.
Yeah, so pretty much you're hit with a double whammy. 2 seconds before you go on, this lady makes this comment, then the first guest is me, and you know this isn't going to the Smithsonian.
Yeah. Although I did think later, and I know this is going to sound awful, no, I won't even say that.
No, go ahead.
No, I can't
no, you
say,
have to.
No, I can't say it, because then it would only compound the first mistake.
Go ahead.
I'm not going
It'll
to.
get it out of your system.
No, don't make me hit you.
It'll be a catharsis. Has anybody ever tried to hit you? When you go out there, let's say you're Mr. Curious, you're on the street, and you just want to look inside somebody's briefcase. Anybody ever haul off and pop you? I
have been punched a couple of times in the office, which I find really discouraging. The only time that I felt that I was in... I've seen a look in people's eyes where I thought maybe they wanted to punch me. One was Oliver Reed. Is that the guy? Yeah. He was, I hope it was Oliver Reed. He was goofy.
I think it was Willis Reed, wasn't it?
And the other one was a guy named Crispin Glover, they both had that look in their eyes like, you know, the circuits have shut down. I'm going to do something now that will require a lot of therapy. And I thought I was going to get it both times.
What makes Terry Garr a good guest?
Because she finds me really annoying. And she's...
No, she doesn't. She's crazy about you.
Well, I don't know about that. I think that Terry Garr is money in the bank almost in any format. I enjoy her acting. I think she's a great actress, and I think she's very, very funny as a person and as a personality. And she seems to understand what people are looking for in a talk show guest. I couldn't be fonder of her.
Stay tuned. Later, we'll return in a moment. Touchstone Pictures presents the world's worst bank robber and the ex-con he took hostage.
You come with me!
They're two mismatched partners who can't seem to work together. Nick Nolte, Martin Short, three fugitives.
What's with the wig?
Rated PG-13. Now playing at a theater near you. Check newspapers for showtime.
For the pride, for the dream, for the love, and for the team, for the sweat and for the drive, for the reason you strive.
For all you do, the clean, crisp taste of Beechwood aged Budweiser.
This Bud's for you. This Bud's for you. Strap your snowboards on, grab a stick of juicy fruit. The taste is gonna move ya. Take a sniff, pull it out. The taste is gonna move ya when you pop it in your mouth. Juicy fruit is gonna move ya. It juices soft, it gets right to ya. Juicy fruit, the taste is gonna move ya.
You're looking at a billion-dollar baby, and this week's People tells you all about the only child of Christina Onassis. Takes you through the daily life of the world's richest little girl. Her many homes, her adulterous father. People, that's what we're all about.
Only on TV 11 this Saturday at midnight, you'll see The Brain That Wouldn't Die. Brought to you by the show that wouldn't die, Chiller Theater. Yes, guys and ghouls, Chiller is 5 years old. So join me, Ned the Dad, for a gigantic anniversary celebration with special surprises, special guests. It all happens Saturday at midnight only on TV 11. The Brain That Wouldn't Die on the show that wouldn't die, Chiller Theater. We're 5 years old. Is that exciting or what? Maybe not. I don't know. I'll tune in and find out. We gotta love having you here, though, folks, because you people, to me, are the most special people in the world.
Where'd you find Schaefer? Well, that's not the question. He was already a well-known guy. What made you select Schaefer?
Well, he was our only choice, really. We found out early on when we were putting the nighttime show together that he was available and that he was interested, and we said, that's it, you got it. I mean, I knew enough of his background. I knew more about him, I guess, as somebody who really was good at comedy, somebody who was very funny, and knew less about him musically. But the combination of the two, we felt like this is the guy, no more calls. And he continues to be, from my perspective, night in and night out, the best part of the show. I mean, he's very important to me. The band is very important to me. And even if everything goes horribly wrong on the show, at least I know the audience has heard really nice, exciting live music in the studio. Unfortunately, on the show at home, they don't get to hear as much of them as
yeah, they play hard-driving stuff just before you come on that picks the audience up.
Regardless of, to what happens, it always makes me feel better to, you know, I just like their presence, I like their music, and if he were to decide to leave the show, I'm not sure that, you know, I don't know what I would do. I would maybe think of not doing it anymore, because I just can't imagine, you know, getting used to another guy in there. It could be done, I guess, but I would find it very discouraging.
How much of the exchanges are at least loosely scripted, and how much entirely ad-lib?
I would say 90% of them are just loose exchanges, not scripted at all. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. But I enjoy him as a presence and would feel like I was not wearing pants if Paul weren't out there. You know, and I've done the show a couple times without pants.
Yeah, behind the desk you can do that.
Yeah, anything goes.
How's it look under there?
Oh, you know, I think I was right. The transmission is shot.
Yeah?
Can you hand me a wrench? An adjustable one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Must lift car. Dave counting on me.
That's it. Oh, that's it. Oh, thank you, Paul. Oh, boy. Oh, Paul, I don't know how I'm ever going to be able to thank you for that.
Well, woo! I may never have good posture again, but I think saving your life was a little more important.
Yeah. I got to get some tea.
What's your idea of good TV?
See, again, here's one of these questions that I ought to have an answer for. I like, you know, the monster truck racing. I like that.
On ESPN,
yes.
yeah.
Car crushers, that kind of stuff. I could watch that hour upon hour. I think that's what television is. That's what television ought to be. We're Americans. We want it. We love it. We can't live without it.
Little wrestling, perhaps? Into wrestling?
Exactly. I love wrestling.
Bobby the Brain Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon with an in-depth analysis?
You know, Bobby the Brain Heenan is from Indianapolis, Indiana. My home city.
Yeah.
And Bobby was involved in wrestling in Indianapolis. He was in the era of Dick the Bruiser, who in the Midwest you couldn't get a better known wrestler than Dick the Bruiser.
True.
You knew him, I guess, from
in St.
Missouri.
Louis.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we would go to the matches periodically. They'd always have a big Thanksgiving card.
That's the kind of thing you want to top off a family day. Some turkey and cranberries, and then let's go watch the Iron Sheik decapitate Hulk Hogan.
Real Currier and Ives kind of stuff. And we would go to these things, and Bobby the Brain, even then, I thought it was a real touch of kind of genius. I mean, he was from Indianapolis. Dick the Bruiser, I think, was from Indianapolis, but always was introduced as from Reno, Nevada, the world's most dangerous wrestler. And I thought, geez, I wish I could be known as the world's most dangerous anything. And by the way, how do you prove that, you know? But Bobby the Brain Heenan, who was not Bobby the Brain in those days, was actually a wrestler, little puny guy that he is. And he always had himself introduced as being from Beverly Hills. And the wrestling crowd on Thanksgiving night, I mean, you couldn't have said anything more irritating to these people than to have this little weasel, this little bleached blonde geek coming into the ring as having been from Beverly Hills and all that that would possibly suggest. And I thought in those days I predicted big things for Bobby. big deal.
And what a talent scout you turned out to be. You know, the single most terrifying phrase, though, in wrestling is when a grappler is announced as being from parts unknown.
Oh, brother.
Ooh, that sends a chill down my back, you know?
What kind of background does this guy have? There used to be
Doesn't even have a green card, this guy.
There used to be
probably.
a guy called the Masked Terror, and he was from parts unknown.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty exciting in those days.
What can you give me for this miserable cold?
A decongestant for your stuffy nose,
No.
plus an antihistamine for sneezing, plus a pain reliever for aching, plus medicine to calm your cough, or just 2 Comtrex. Comtrex, all alone, it does it all.
Sir, Wendy's is offering their delicious quarter-pound single for 99 cents. What do you think?
Sounds like an obvious attempt to get people to come to Wendy's and buy this hamburger.
That's the idea.
Well, it's a darn good one.
Now Wendy's single is 99 cents. Additional purchase may be required.
Although copiers are getting more and more sophisticated every day, their copies will never be as good as the original.
On my next Morgan Brittany on Beauty show, I'll have one of Hollywood's biggest stars, George Hamilton. He'll introduce his personal method for skincare. George will reveal how he's kept his skin looking so great. You'll find out what his personal secrets are. Secrets that he's only shared with his friends up until now. Stay tuned to find out more on my next Morgan Brittany on Beauty show.
Sunday at 12:15 a.m. on Channel 11.
If you're reading about it,
Oh my goodness, look what they're saying here.
if you're talking about it,
It was fascinating, really.
it's on Donahue. If you're arguing about it,
I'm not responsible for the environment, lady. This is just a laundry mat.
if you're concerned about it,
It seems like a significant event.
it's on Donahue.
Donahue, weekdays at 4, only on TV 11.
Ladies and gentlemen, here now the farewell performance of the big man.
Ladies and gentlemen of the studio audience, home viewers across America and in the territories, servicemen and women who are watching on the Armed Forces Network, Mr. President and your charming wife, the Special Joint Assembly of Congress, Your Holiness, TV's entire Van Patten family. I come before you tonight for the last time.
Who found Larry Bud Millman?
When we started the show, we hired a couple of writers who had done a student film, I believe at NYU, and they had found him, and I'm not sure where. They had put him into their student project and showed us these films, and we kind of liked his presence, and we started using him on a real regular basis very early on.
How much of what's going on does he understand?
Well, I think you can't really safely apply the phrase, what's going on, to Larry. There's nothing going on.
Didn't Larry
there.
used to spend a lot of time with Marvin Gaye before Marvin tragically passed on?
God. He's an interesting man, a very interesting man, and again has a presence almost regardless of what he does or what we ask him to do that people seem drawn to or enjoy or like about. I mean, they find him very likable. And I don't know what it is. He's very interesting to be around and a very nice guy and had a rather interesting life.
In what way?
In ways that I really would feel uncomfortable discussing without him being here. He was raised by poodles, I'll give you that.
In the wild.
Yeah,
the wilds of Beverly Hills.
Are the worst ones. We had an idea to send Larry on I guess the idea was originally Are we about out of time, by the way?
We're just going. We're just going. Are you getting bored now, Dave?
No, I'm just tired of hearing myself talk.
America clamors for this.
I find that difficult to believe. We were going to send him across country on a bus or something. And then Steve O'Donnell, our head writer, said, why don't we send him to South America, like a Pan-American goodwill tour, and he would phone in various reports. And we all thought that this was a lovely idea, because there would be Larry down there, maybe with a phone report 2 or 3 times a week, and just see how he was responding to various cultural influences. And the thing just from the very beginning was a debacle. They left on a Friday night and in a big mobile home with a plywood sign affixed to the side of the mobile home. And they're blowing down the New Jersey Turnpike at about 60. And aerodynamics being what they are, this huge plywood sign is wrested from the side of the vehicle and goes sailing through the night down the highway behind them. They pulled over and phoned the show and said, we think we may have decapitated some people. This is like 45 minutes into his Pan-American Goodwill tour. And nothing ruins goodwill like highway mayhem.
Yeah.
You know?
And a few deaths early establish a tone that's hard to overcome.
It really is. It stays on your record. And then from that, it just got to be, it was silly. It was like Larry thought that the purpose of this trip was a vacation for him, and would we please stop bothering him? and it gradually, I mean, you could almost...
You were pulling him out of the lounge, he was there with babes and stuff? And
well, we could have lived with that, but it was... we would talk to Larry on the phone, and it would be like insurgents had burst into his hotel room and clubbed him to near death. I mean, he just had no spirit, no enthusiasm, no energy. And he'd say, Larry, it's a show. Just for 8 seconds on the phone, pick it up a little bit. No, and every time we called him, he wanted to come home.
I think his finest moment, outside of when he portrayed the late, great Roy Orbison, which was truly shocking.
I think he did a very nice job.
Incredible, incredible. Yeah. And really nice effect delivering the line, mercy. But I think his finest moment is as Larry the Big Man Melman.
Yeah, Larry the Big Man. We put him in this costume and rolled him out, and yeah, it was an interesting look.
Will we see more of that? Inquiring minds want to know.
No, we finally dismantled the Big Man suit and gave it away one night. We try and turn things over fairly frequently.
This is important to me.
Yeah.
What's happened to Arnie Barnes? How come you don't call him in Omaha anymore?
Geez, you know, I hadn't thought about Arnie Barnes. Arnie Barnes, I'm not even sure how we came across him, but he was a guy, I think we just got out of the white pages for the Omaha telephone directory, and we would chat with Arnie a couple of times a week. Arnie was great. To me, that's, I think if you wanted to try and describe or document sort of the feeling that we've all been looking for in putting together a show like this, that would be an important piece of it.
I thought your writers or you captured him perfectly when you had the list of the differences between Arnie Barnes and the average American. Average American's favorite quotation, give me liberty or give me death. And Arnie Barnes was something like, don't let your meat loaf or, or whatever.
Right. That's right. I'm at a real disadvantage here, Bob, because I don't watch the show. So I don't, a lot of these things, I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't go home and watch your
No, I don't go home and watch it. I will watch it in the office if I feel like I have really screwed up something. I'll go upstairs and watch it. And here lately, I've been watching it every night. But, you know, you can kind of tell if it goes okay. And if it doesn't go okay, I want to go up there and find out where it was I screwed it up and can I prevent it again.
Your writing staff is incredible.
Yeah, I've been, again, very, very fortunate. I wish I could take credit for all of the good things that have happened on the show and to the show, but it's largely the work of the writers and also the people who do the production of the show, the talent people and so forth.
What's the single greatest? It is too hard to pick, maybe 2 or 3, greatest top 10 lists.
You got me again. I don't know. We've done so many of them. None really stick out in my mind as
really?
being, yeah.
That's amazing to me. That I can remember, and it's much less skillful work, but I can remember excerpts from innings of ball games I've done and conversations here. It sticks in my head. And with you, it's gone once it's over with?
Not gone. It just, everything after you've done so many of these, we've done, I guess tonight was 1,081. It all kind of gets to be a little gray, you know.
Dan Quayle's top 10 pickup lines.
See, I don't know how you know these things about this show. That to me is amazing and kind of sad.
Pathetic might be the more sad understates it. Pathetic in a way that's almost too difficult to contemplate. That's what it is. And we'll be back.
They're slashing prices.
They're talking deal.
Talking 2 flame-broiled patties with melted cheese. And who's doing it?
We do it.
For a limited time, a
Burger King double cheeseburgers.
99 cents.
That's 2, I mean 2 flame broiled patties, a quarter-pound of beef.
With 2 slices of cheese for 99 cents.
So,
Get on down for a 99-cent double cheeseburger.
who does it? We do it like you do it.
For only 99 cents.
At Burger King!
Right now, the only thing that would taste better than a nice cold one is a cold filtered one. Yeah, if you want a beer whose real draft taste hasn't been changed by heat pasteurization, we've got it down cold. Cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft.
It's as real as it gets.
I can't wait for my Lucky Dog brand dog food from Purina. It has 1 meaty thing, 1 chewy thing, and 1 crunchy thing. I wonder how many things that is.
Make your dog a lucky dog today.
Have you ever seen those commercials where one battery outlasts the others? We'd just like you to know Energizer batteries were never invited to their playoffs. A word to the wise, Energize.
It's human nature for us to value things that are not easily accessible to us.
100% right.
On the next Sally Jesse Raphael, is playing hard to get the key to finding a husband?
When I finally stopped looking, and I was just comfortable with myself, that's when I met my husband.
Are we talking about meeting people? The best place really is at work.
Never hunt for a husband. Let him hunt you.
Zsa Zsa Gabor tells how to get a man to marry you on the next Sally.
Come home to the best, only on TV 11. Join us tomorrow at 9.
Tomorrow night, after Cheers, right here on NBC, 9:30, the Letterman years. Is that what they're calling it?
It's a 7th anniversary special.
An era in American history.
Yeah,
Most people pretty much remember where they were the night you came on the air, don't they?
I don't even have an idea.
See you later.
Join Bob tomorrow night when his guest will be Jesse the Body Ventura.